There it is, folks. The basketball. All day, all weekend long. Let the madness begin. All right, let me tell you what's going on. We got a lot of stuff going on. We are going to be later tonight. That's why we're only going to come to you one time this afternoon, because we've got a very busy evening. We're going to go across the border to East Liverpool, Ohio, to talk to Mary Ann Hogue about their Mardi Gras party that's coming to the Museum of Ceramics, which is operated by the Museum of Ceramics Foundation and the Ohio History Connection. Houses an extensive collection of wares produced in the city long known as America's crockery city, the city of hills and kilns, and the pottery capital of the world. We're going to be telling you all about that amazing place, and I hope that you will definitely tune in for that. And you know, my dear friend Sam McKinney, which by the way, he's working today, so before you sit down and watch any basketball, why don't you stop in and get some chili to warm up your day and say hi to Sam McKinney, and all of their locations are ready to serve you today. And that's the best way to watch all the basketball. Get the chili dogs, the chili and cheese fries, invite everyone over and say, look what I have brought for you. And you can enjoy some great basketball on those HD TVs. And of course, those collectible cups with Sean, Archie, John Miller. But Sam McKinney's mother came from England. Her mother was pregnant with her, and she grew up in nearby East Liverpool, Ohio. Her name, Lucille McKinney, who now resides in Florida. Her entire family, part of that great pottery nation, as I like to call it, worldwide, people coming across the Atlantic to really give birth to an art that I believe is second to none. When you think of things like Fiesta Ware, my friend Joe Wells III, and Homer Laughlin, and all of the great potteries, I mean tons of them, literally hundreds of them at one time in East Liverpool, and some of them more familiar to me, such as Hall China and others. And Sarah W. Vaudry, director of the Museum of Ceramics, many, many years ago, wrote a book entitled The East Liverpool, Ohio Pottery District that listed every single one of them. And we would be here for weeks, but there was such a list, such a history, and I'm so proud that I had so many years in that town, and I'm really looking forward to spending time tonight with Mary Ann Hogue at the Museum of Ceramics. And by the way, Lincoln Park, that incredible school of just some wonderful young talent, they will be performing there as well Saturday. Hot Shots Bar and Grill, providing some great food, beer and wine as well. So please click on and become a part of their Mardi Gras party. Now, here is sports for you. We got lots of sports too. We're going to be talking about later tonight at Casa de Emmanuel with Ted Arnaud. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Wayne Simmons scored his 200th goal, and Steve Mason made 23 saves. Flyers beat the Pens 4-0. They've got Jersey at the PPG Paints Arena on St. Patrick's Day. Jamison Tyon pitched 4 strong innings at Lecom Park yesterday in the Bucs 6-5 win over Baltimore. And Chad Kuhl in a minor league game, 4 scoreless innings against the Phils minor league team. UC Davis basketball over North Carolina Central 67-63. They now face Kansas. Southern Cal rallied to defeat Providence 75-71. Benny Boatwright had 24. Up next for the Trojans, the very high-flying SMU Ponies. Good basketball team. Now, I'm just going to go through this list very quickly. And by the time we get back later with you tonight, a lot of these games will be over. But some of the early games, Bucknell, West Virginia, Princeton, Notre Dame. Then we roll through the day. NC Wilmington, Virginia, Winthrop, Butler, South Dakota State, Gonzaga, East Tennessee State, Florida, Middle Tennessee State, Minnesota, Vanderbilt, Northwestern, Xavier, Maryland, Mount St. Mary, Villanova, VCU and St. Mary's, Vermont and Purdue, Virginia Tech versus Wisconsin, Florida Gulf Coast and Florida State, North Dakota and Arizona, Sean Miller's team, and Nevada taking on Iowa State. Lots of NFL stuff still happening every day. That's why we always have the NFL Network on, Comcast, Pratt Pack Gym. Tonight, Ted and I are going to focus a lot on the NFL. And now what do the Steelers do that Jarvis Jones is gone? And what about that possibility if Martavius Bryant does come back? So we're going to talk about that and some of the things that are happening. And Pro Day are coming up for some of these great collegiate athletes too, including Deshaun Watson, that exceptional quarterback out of Clemson. And he's talking about, as well, people in the know are talking about making that pro transition at his Pro Day to show the scouts about him playing at the next level. But back to the NCAA tournament. You know, one of the things that has always fascinated me is Sportsbook in Las Vegas, Nevada. I love that part of the world. I love what they do. And of course, they do it in England as well. Well, just a quick statistic for you, and Mr. Arnaud, my gaming expert, will talk all about this tonight. But ESPN.com's David Purdom just read it moments ago. 70 million brackets will be filled out, total of 10.4 billion in bets, but only 3% of the bets are wagered legally, with 10.1 billion coming into offshore or local books. But how about this for Las Vegas? And talk about generating the economy. 295 million expected to be bet in Vegas casinos. That is impressive stuff. And what that does, I mean, from the people that are serving you dinner and drinks and the shows, the entertainment, the cab drivers, fine wine and spirits, and people just enjoying it being there. And I've talked to people who have gone there just to watch the Super Bowl, and they say it is one of the most amazing experiences you could ever imagine. So Las Vegas does a lot of good, and so does this incredible basketball tournament. But also, you think about people going to Coons Market and getting all of their chips and, Coca-Cola, everything that goes with it. It is a wonderful time of year, and it all begins today. So get out your remote, get into your lazy boy, your comfy clothes, and enjoy, or get out to one of your fine, wonderful local restaurants and bars and be responsible and, hey, have a good time. Now, some headlines. All right, more denials as far as this wiretapping situation. Devin Nunes, he is the House Committee chair. He is saying there's no evidence. And the same thing with Attorney General Jeff Sessions. So Tucker Carlson, who I have really enjoyed for many years, going back to his days on MSNBC, he's now with Fox News. The president told him last night, wiretap, quote, covers a lot of different things. Quote, I think you're going to find some interesting things in the next 2 weeks. All right, budget hearing right now underway on healthcare. If you want to go to CNN, you can find that as well, or be listening throughout the day to CBS Radio News. They've got details on all of these stories, along with the award-winning KDK Radio Newsroom. Outline, the budget, that's the story. 1.1 trillion. President Donald Trump, 54 billion in the way of increased money for defense spending. But Ted and I are going to talk a lot about this budget tonight from Cassidy Emanuel. He'll join me on the AT&T Newsline. Department cuts. We're going to talk about Environmental Protection Agency, State Department, Labor Department, Agricultural Department, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. A lot of money are going to be leaving those departments. Also program cuts. Eliminating the USDA water and wastewater loan and grant program. Cuts $250 million by zeroing out National Oceanic Department of Education. Cuts to FEMA, eliminating funding for Section 4 capacity building for community development and affordability. And also Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. This is pretty interesting stuff. Former chairman, of course, ExxonMobil, a great company worldwide. He said today in Japan that budget cuts were made because, quote, the level of spending, this is about the State Department, that the State Department has been undertaking in the past, particularly in this past year, is simply not sustainable. Though the plan increases funding to fortify U.S. embassies abroad to provide $3.1 billion in commitments to Israel. I believe, my opinion, that's a good thing. It reduces U.S. payments to the United Nations by slashing funding for climate change programs and UN peacekeeping and other programs. And we're going to talk about the EPA going to be affected, HUD, talk about the border wall, energy and transportation and health, all of that. They outline $1.1 trillion, the budget from President Donald Trump. Ted Arnaud and I break it all down later tonight. So enjoy the rest of your day. Stay warm. Remember AccuWeather, KDK Radio throughout the day to kind of keep you abreast on what's happening. And we'll catch up with you later tonight. Museum of Ceramics with Mary Ann Hogue talking about their Mardi Gras happening this Saturday. And then Ted and I at Lou Volino's Incredible on the historic Mulberry Street in the east end of East Liverpool, Ohio. Cassidy Emanuel. We're going to be talking sports, and more sports. And yes, some presidential budget talk too. All tonight with me right here. I hope to see you then.